We have two types of water heaters on our RVs. A tanked water heater, which operates very similar to the water heater that most people have in their house, only with a smaller tank, about 6 gallons, or a tankless water heater. This particular model has a tankless water heater. So this is the procedure for utilizing a tankless. First, you're going to come to the control panel. You're going to turn on the water pump. You're going to hear it pump for a minute and then turn off. That means that the system is pressurized. Next, you will turn on the water heater. You'll hear a beep and you'll see this light up. Now, this light doesn't necessarily stay on the whole time, but it does typically indicate when you turn it on that there is power. After you have done these two things, you come over to this panel right here. This is the tankless water heater control. Some people get this confused for the thermostat, for the air conditioner and the heater inside the RV, but that's not what this is. It has several functions. One, it shows the ambient temperature of the water in the tank. As you can see, the water inside this tank is very warm. Then it has an up button. That sets the temperature that you want the water to come out of the tap at. You can lower it by pushing this. In order for the water heater to turn on, the temperature that you want it to be must be higher than the temperature inside the tank. There's also, you can switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius, and then there's a power switch that can actually turn this off. We're going to turn this on. You can then come to any of the sinks within the RV and it will produce hot water. Now, it's a tankless, and they say that tankless water heaters produce instant hot water. In RVs, that's not quite the case. Tankless water heaters actually use a lot of water, and so they're not wonderful if you are camping off-grid and don't have a ready water supply, because it takes quite a little bit of water for it to heat up. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to open up this on full hot. Next, you're going to come over to the tankless water heater control, and you're going to see three things. One, that you have good flow. Two, that the cooling fan of the heater is running. And three, that you have flame indicating that it is heating. Then you will see the temperature of the water increasing to the temperature that you have set. You should be able to come over here and put your hand under the water and feel it getting hot. Now, it'll go to the temperature that you have set. So it can get really hot, so don't burn yourself. If for some reason it's not getting hot like it should, then there are a few steps that you can take to troubleshoot the reason. If you're not getting hot water and you come back over to the controller to check that you've got flow, the fan, and heat, and these have gone blank and there is an E01, E02, or E03 flashing, that indicates that there's an error. If you have one of these errors, there is a system for resetting the water heater and trying it all again. The first thing to do to try to reset those is to come to the control panel here. You're going to turn off the water heater and turn off the water pump. Next, you're going to go outside to the water heater panel, open this door, and you're going to see a white switch right here. You're going to press that to the off position, and you're going to wait 15 minutes with the switch on the inside of the coach, on the control panel, and the switch on the water heater in the off position. While you're waiting, you can reach back in here and just check the thermal overheat switch, which will have a little teeny round button about the width of a pencil lead that you can just gently touch with the tip of your finger to reset it. Also, down here in the corner of this compartment, you have a pressure release valve that you can open up to verify that you've got pressure in the system. After you have waited for 15 minutes, go ahead turn this switch back on, you should hear the water heater make an electrical sound indicating that it is powering up. Then you will go back inside the coach. You're going to turn on the water pump. If you can hear the water pump, you want to wait until you can't hear it. This means that the system is now pressurized. Then you will turn on the water heater. You will hear the control panel light up, and you will walk back over to the sink and turn on the hot water again. And you see flow, fan, and flames. Then you know that the water heater is reset and it is functioning properly. There are no other steps to do except for enjoy your hot water. Now if you have the flow and you have the fan, but you don't have the flame, or you have the fan and you don't have the flame or the flow, then that's typically indicative of a clog somewhere in the water line. In order to determine which water line is clogged, you have to come to the end source of the water, because each one of these, whether it's the kitchen sink, the shower in the bathroom, or the bathroom sink, they has a little screen right on the end of the faucet. Now, when those become clogged, they don't get enough flow to activate the water heater. So you have to remove the end of the faucet, remove this small little screen, and just make sure that there is no debris in here or on here. And if there is, clean it out. That will typically solve your flow issues. Now, this happens independently on each of the sinks. So if the kitchen sink works and the bathroom sink doesn't, then you know there's a clog in the bathroom. If the shower doesn't work, you know there's probably a clog in the shower. Another thing that can happen with these water heaters is if the flow from the pump is not strong enough to activate the flow, then it won't ignite the flame. Now, these water heaters are not adjustable for the flow. So if that happens, if you've cleaned out all of these, you can't find any obstructions, but the water heater still isn't turning on, what you can do is go to the bathroom hot water faucet, crack it just a little bit, and then come back to the kitchen and turn it on. And this will typically solve your problem, at least for your trip, until we can take a look at it and find out what's causing the issue. Now, if you do not have a thermostat on the wall somewhere close to this control panel, that indicates that you have a tanked water heater, or a water heater that has a tank, very similar to the water heater at your house. The biggest difference is that it's only about 6 gallons. Now, the way to turn on a tanked water heater is, number one, you're going to turn on your water pump. Then you're going to listen for it to stop. Then you're going to turn on the water heater. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
If you do not have a water heater control panel, that means that you do not have a tankless installed. You have a tanked water heater. Now, the operation of the tanked water heater is very similar to the water heater in most people's homes. It has a tank. The biggest difference is that tank is only about 6 gallons instead of 50 gallons, so it goes pretty quickly. But it's very simple, and the operation of it is usually a set it and forget it type of thing. So the way we turn on a tanked water heater, first you check that the propane is on. Once you have determined that your propane is turned on, you want to turn on the water pump and then the water heater, just like that. Once you've done this, set it and forget it. The water heater will be on, and it will be heating until it reaches a temperature, then it will stop. One thing to remember is that if you leave this on, it will just continue to heat and heat the water heater just like at your home, and you'll use a lot of propane. So I suggest, if you're not going to use it, turn it off. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes to heat up, use it, and then when you're done using it, go ahead and turn it off. In the event that your water heater doesn't heat up, there are a couple of steps that you can do to get it working properly. Number one, that it's not getting propane. Number two, that it's not getting water. Or number three, that the thermal overheat has tripped, which has caused the burner to shut down. Now we're going to check that right here. You remove this panel by straightening up this tab and just pulling the panel off and setting it to the side. Don't lose it. There is a valve right here that you can gently pull just like that, and water will come out if the system has been pressurized. That way you know there's water in the tank. The last thing to do is the thermal reset. These two buttons right in here, you press them just like this at the same time, and that resets the thermal overheat. You should hear it start clicking, and you should hear the water heater start up at that time. Go back inside, wait 20 to 30 minutes, and you should have piping hot water for whatever you need. Now, after you go back inside and you verify that you've got hot water, make sure you replace this panel, and you have to do it right so it doesn't fall off while you're driving. There are two tabs along the bottom. You slide those into the two holes at the bottom of the panel. You slide this in on this little clip vertically. You pull out on the clip and twist it horizontal, and now it's locked in place. If for some reason you followed all these steps and you still aren't able to get hot water, reach out to roadside assistance or tech support and we'll get you squared away.